And if you think about the human experience, what really matters is not so much your grades or the job that you have. All of these are means goals. They are a means to an end, right? But if you ask a human being to share with you the moments in life that they're most grateful for, all of those moments often deal with inner states. It's falling in love. It's carrying your first child in your arm. It's the joy of like accomplishing your first big win. And all of these are states of happiness, states of joy, states of human connectivity.
Power begins from within. If you're aware of who you are, if you're aware of what you're good at, what you're not good at, if you're able to see how emotions kind of govern your life, if you can learn what your weaknesses are and how to control them, you can't ever get complete control, but awareness is almost enough.
You know, like if I resist change, if I resist getting out of my comfort zone, how many things in your life have you missed out on because you resisted it?
I believe our lives are controlled by one force, decisions. I certainly believe in force greater than myself, call it God if you will, grace, whatever you want to call it, the universe. But I also believe it gives us choices. And the decisions we make control us much more than the conditions we meet. It's not the conditions, it's your decisions. Decisions of what to believe, decisions what to do, decisions what to give. I say to people, think about, look back 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, and think of a decision you made. That if you would have made a different decision, you'd have a totally different life today.
If you turn around and you confront the suffering voluntarily, you find out that you are way tougher than you think. It's not that life is better than you think. Life is as harsh as you think. It might even be worse, but you are way tougher than you think if you turn around and confront it.
Humility to recognize, what got you here won't get you there, as the saying goes, right? And to say at some point, if you really want to change and are really stuck, I know nothing, I'm letting go of everything, and I'm sort of gonna relearn with a childlike mind.
Living my purpose, knowing what my purpose is. If there's a why, I could handle anything. If I've got a purpose, if I've got a reason bigger than myself, bigger than the circumstance I'm living in, bigger than whatever's in front of me, when I have a purpose, I can make it through anything.
Pain is pleasure. You've got to make the connection between the physical and the mental. When you work out, it's painful. Well, you know that when you're exercising. When you're running or you're working out or whatever, it hurts, but it leads to something pleasurable.
You got to really master this principle of neutrality, which is to go to that place that's not either happy or sad or good or bad or negative or positive. I would call it that spiritual center, that center of all wisdom, the source. And then really get clear about, okay, what's that I'm going to create around me?
A purpose is really like a why. Why am I alive? Why am I on this earth? What is my purpose on this planet? Love is the most powerful purpose we can have.
There is a myth out there in the world that I call the hustler myth. It says that it's about hard work, that it's about working harder than the competition. It's about busting your back for 100 hours a week. You can hustle or you can surrender into your inner space. And I'm a big fan of surrendering into your inner space.
The most important decision you can make above any on the face of the earth is deciding that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what happens, you're going to live in a beautiful state.
This mass, fear that's going around is it's not just this physical threat and virus, it's this virus of the mind.
Make no mistake about it, like the first noble truth of Buddhism, life is suffering. This is true, and it's worse than that because it's suffering contaminated by malevolence. That's the baseline. But the optimistic part is that you are so damn tough you can actually not only deal with that, you can improve it.
Each project, each thing that you do in life, you have to kind of create that feeling in the gut like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off. You got to feel a little bit of that nervousness and that excitement and that sense of, I've got to build it now.
What you're going through is temporary, and that what's permanent is how you feel. What's permanent is your attitude. You could still be joyful. You could still be happy. You could still be blessed. You have more of a probability of it shifting by shifting your attitude.
It means a beautiful state is that you're going to be happy, but that's only one. Or you're going to feel creative, or you're going to be passionate, or you're going to be in awe of something, or you're going to feel love. Any state that's a beautiful state is really the core essence of who you are without fear.
Same thing with your mind. As you ask a question, you start focusing on that, and if you just focus on fear and everything that's wrong in the world, that's all you see, because your brain is always deleting stuff, because there's a billion stimuli that we can focus on, and what gets through that filter that's not deleted are the things that you care about, things that you ask questions about. And so if you're just focusing on the fear, you're not seeing, you become very myopic on, you feel like that's the whole world, and you're not focusing on opportunity, you're not focusing on what you can be grateful for, or all these amazing blessings and fortunes in your life, and that becomes reality.
You're born pure and fresh and vulnerable and spontaneous and in the moment, and slowly through life experiences and your caregivers, you get loaded with a lot of baggage. And I think one of the goals of life is how much of that baggage can you cut away before you leave this planet.
And I think the fact that we're armed for the task is even more true than the fact that life is catastrophe contaminated by malevolence. We're stronger than things are terrible. And it's not naive optimism. Very different thing. It's like, no, things are terrible. They're brutal. And you are so damn tough, you can't believe it.
What surrendering means is to accept, to own, and to be without judgment about it. By surrendering and accepting and embracing, then I get to love me as I am, love whatever the situation is as it is. I don't have to like something to love it.
We tend to become addicted to or very comfortable with the feelings associated with who we think we are. Know yourself in the circumstances that create the certain feelings about who you think you are, right? So you think yourself as a loser. You really do. That's why you keep doing, you can't win. Every time you set yourself up to win, you choose not to.
To me, failure in life is not having money. It's not realizing your potential. You're 60 years old and you said, I could have been this, and I never did it. That's like the worst thought I think anybody can have. And you don't think about it in the moment because your life is okay, but you've got to wake up and understand that there's an urgency here, and that if you're not practicing something now, if you're not aware, if you don't have a path towards something better, you're rotting on the vine, and that day of reckoning will come at some point, and it will be painful. You're not going to feel it suddenly, it'll be slow, but it'll come and it won't be good.
Life is short. We don't know how short it's going to be. So my thing is, why wait, right? Why wait? Why not just decide?